Hello mga kawawmat, in this video lesson we'll discuss about computing test statistic on population mean. First, let us have a short activity. Identify the appropriate test statistic to be used based on the given information. Write T if it is t-test and C if it is c-test. So it is a review. So this is a review from the previous discussion about identifying the test statistic on population mean. Number 1, the sample mean is 345 and the sample size is 46. The population is normally distributed with a standard deviation of 11. Test the hypothesis at 0.05 level of significance. Consider the hypothesis below. So the null hypothesis, the population mean is equal to 345 and the alternative hypothesis is the population mean is not equal to 345. Number 2, test at the alpha level of 0.05. The null hypothesis is the average is equal to 2.19 against the alternative hypothesis that the average is less than 2.19. So with the sample size of 18, the sample mean is 1.36 and the sample standard deviation is 0.14. Assume that the population is approximately normal. Number 3, the sample size is less than 18 and the standard deviation is 3.67. Number 4, the sample mean is 125.3. The sample standard deviation is 5. The population mean is 124 and the sample size is 24. The level of significance is 0.05. And number 5, the sample mean is 25.4 and the population mean is 22.6. The population standard deviation is 15. The sample size is 118 and the significance level is 0.01. Okay, so number 1, so what will be the answer? So given yung sample mean and the sample size which is 46 and that is greater than, no? Greater than siya sa 30. And with the standard deviation of 11. So given our n is greater than 30 and then the standard deviation or the population standard deviation is given, so therefore C. Okay. Next, number 2. What will be the sample size? So the sample size is 18 and given the sample standard deviation. So this is T. Number 3, the sample size less than 18. But the standard deviation, the sample size is 18 and the standard deviation is 3.67. So since the sample size is less than 18 and given yung population standard, your sample standard deviation is 3.67, so that is T. Number 4, sample standard deviation ang given natin and then meron tayong sample mean. So the answer is T pa din. And number 5, since given yung population standard deviation and then the sample size is 118, so C ang sagot natin. C yung sagot natin dito. Okay? So, sana na-recall kung paano natin ina-identify kung t-test bar or c-test ang gagamitin natin sa given problem. So, c-test, if the sample size is large where your n or your sample size is greater than or equal to 30 and the population standard deviation is known. And also, using in central limit theorem, the sample standard deviation may be used as an estimate of the population standard deviation when the value of your population standard deviation is unknown. So using the formula, so the sample mean minus the population mean divided by the population standard deviation over the square root of sample size, no? So where yung x bar, that is the sample mean, yung mu, that is the population mean, and n is the sample size, and this one is the population standard deviation. Okay, so let's try. Okay, another is the t-test. By the way, class, in this topic kasi, in test statistics, meron lang tayo, there are two specific tests, no? In hypothesis testing, ang gagamitin lang natin is C-test and T-test. So if the sample size is small, so gagamitin natin t-test, where n is less than 30 and the population is normal or nearly normal and the sample standard deviation is unknown. So using the formula, so yung x bar is the sample mean, this one, yung mu natin is the population mean, yung n natin dito is the sample size at yung s is the sample standard deviation. Okay, so in t-test, we have the degrees of freedom where n minus 1. Where the formula is n minus 1 or df is equal to n minus 1. For example, number 1, find the computed C value of the following. So given the sample mean which is 21.75, the population mean is 20.83, the population standard deviation is 2.75, and the sample size is 38. Using the formula for z-test, let's just substitute all the given data on the formula. So substitute lang natin. You may use your scientific calculator, no, to compute. Okay, 21.75 minus 20.83 divided by 2.75 over square root of 38, and that is 2.062. So, mas maigi class na i-round off natin yung final answer natin into 3 decimal places. So, therefore, the computed C value is 2.062. Next. So, the given sample mean is 891.75. The population mean is 890.25. The population standard deviation is 11.75. And then, the sample size is 90. So, using the formula, substitute the given value to the formula, and then simplify. So, 891.75 minus 890.25 divided by 11.75 over square root of 90. So, therefore, the computed C value is 1.211. Next. Find the computed t value of the following. So, given the sample mean 16.4, the population mean 15.86, the sample standard deviation is 1.25, the sample size is 21. So, using the formula, substitute the given value on the formula and then simplify. So, 16.4 minus 15.86 divided by 1.25 over square root of 21. So, the computed t value is 1.980. Next. Another, the given sample mean is 246, the population mean is 245.85, the sample standard deviation is 3.25, and the sample size is 29. So, substitute the given value in the formula and then simplify. So, 246 minus 245.85 divided by 3.25 over square root of 29. So, therefore, the computed t value is 0.249. So, it should be t, no? T value dapat yan. So, palitan natin. So, again, the t value is 0.249. So, next. So, given the problem, so, una muna natin gagawin dito, balikan natin yung previous discussion natin. Kapag merong problem, paano natin malalaman na C-test or T-test ang gagamitin. Okay, for example, number 3. A manufacturer claimed that the average life of batteries used in their electronic games is 150 hours. It is known that the standard deviation of this type of battery is 20 hours. A consumer wished to test the manufacturer's claim and accordingly tested 100 electronic games using the battery. It was found out that the mean is equal to 144 hours. So, una, of course, let's write the given data. No, una muna doon. So, write the given data. So, what are the given data? The sample mean is 144. Okay? So, the sample mean is 144. And then, the population standard deviation is 20. The population mean is 150. And the sample size is it was claimed that the already tested using the battery. So, how many batteries yung dito? So, mga claim and according tested, so 100. So, it should be 100 dapat to. Okay, check natin. Okay, so since the given now is, again, so yung population standard deviation natin is 20 and the sample size is 100. So from the given data, so ibig sabihin the the sample size is greater than or equal to 30. Kasi yung n natin is 100. And then, the population standard deviation is known. So, given yung population standard deviation natin, so therefore, anong test yung gagamitin natin kapag yung n natin is greater than or equal to 30 and the population standard deviation is known? We're using the C-test. Okay, the C-test ang gagamitin. So, using the formula, substitute the given value on the formula. So, 144 minus 150 divided by 20 over the square root of 100. Thus, after nyo ma-simplify, so the computed C value is negative 3. So, pwede nyo yan i-double check yung sagot natin. Another example, in the first semester of the school year, a random sample of 200 students get a mean score of 81.72 with a population standard deviation of 15 in statistic and probability tests. The population mean is 79.83, use 0.05 level of significance. So, kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, sulat muna natin yung mga given data. Okay, the sample mean is 81.72 and the population mean is 79.83 and the population standard deviation is 15. Okay, so and the sample size, so wait lang. A random sample of 200 students get a mean score of 80 with a population standard deviation of 15. And the sample size is 200. So, check natin. Yung sample size natin is greater than 30. And given yung population standard deviation, so therefore, ito ay C-test. Kagaya rin ng example number 3 natin. So, using the formula, to compute the C value, substitute all the given value in the formula. So, and then simplify. So, 81.72 minus 79.83 divided by 15 over square root of 200. And the computed C value is 1.783. Next. A study was conducted to look at the average time students exercise. A researcher claimed that in average students exercise less than 8 hours per month. In a random sample size of 115, it was found that the mean time student exercise is, the sample mean is 6.3 hours per month with the sample standard deviation of 11.6 hours per month. So what are the given data? So the sample mean is 6.3, the population mean is 8, the sample standard deviation is 11.6, and the sample size is 115. So ibig sabihin, yung n natin dito is greater than or equal 30, but the population standard deviation is not known. So, unknown yung population standard deviation. Kasi yung binigay dito is the sample standard deviation. So, kapag ganito, anong test ang gagamitin natin? If your n is greater than or equal to 30, but your population standard deviation is unknown, anong gagamitin natin? Z-test pa rin, no? C-test pa rin ang gagamitin. Bakit? Using the central limit theorem. So, according to the central limit theorem, if the sample standard deviation may be used as an estimate of the population standard deviation when the value of population standard deviation is unknown. So, since n is greater than or equal to 30, we will use C-test by replacing the population standard deviation with its estimate S, no? So, papalitan lang natin yung population standard deviation natin nung value nung sample standard deviation. So, using the formula, substitute 63.8, 6.3 minus 8 divided by 11.6 over the square root of 115. And the answer is, the computed C value is negative 1.572. Okay, another example. An English teacher wanted to test whether the mean reading speed of students is 550 words per minute. A sample of 12 students revealed a sample mean of 540 words per minute with a standard deviation of 5 words per minute. At 0.05 significance level, is the reading speed different from 550 words per minute? So what are the given data? So the sample mean is 540 and the population mean is 550. The sample standard deviation is 5 and the sample size is 12. So based on the given data, yung sample size natin ay less than 30 and then the population variance, the population standard deviation is unknown. So, hindi siya given kasi sample standard deviation ang nandyan. So, therefore, dito natin siya ilagay. The population standard deviation is not known. So, kapag ganito, if your sample size is less than 30 and the population variance is unknown, anong test ang gagamitin natin? Okay, t-test. So, using the formula, substitute the given value, all the given values sa formula natin. So, and then simplify. 540 minus 550 divided by 5 over square root of 12. So, the computed t-value is negative 6.928. Next. Okay, for example number 7. The government claims that the monthly expenses of a Filipino family with 4 members is 10,000 pesos. A sample of 26 family expenses has a mean of 10,900 pesos and a standard deviation of 1,250 pesos. Is there enough evidence to reject the government claims at alpha level of 0.01? So what are the given data? So the sample mean is 10,900. The population mean is 10,000 and the sample standard deviation is 1,250 and the sample size is 26. So based on the given data, the sample size is less than 30 and the population standard deviation is unknown. So, therefore, the population standard deviation is unknown. So, dito natin ilagay. So, kapag ganito, kagaya rin ng example number 6, anong test ang gagamitin natin? That is t-test. So, using the formula, substitute lang natin. 10,900 minus 10,000 divided by 1,250 over square root of 26. So, the computed t-value is 3.671. Okay, next. Example number 8. So, using the given, the null hypothesis or your population mean is 116.12 and the alternative hypothesis, your population mean is greater than 116.12. So, it is an example of one-tailed test. Particularly, this is a right-tailed test kasi greater. So, the population follows a normal distribution with standard deviation of 7.18. So, sample mean of 118.7 and the sample size of 29. So, use the alpha level of 0.10. So, our given is the sample mean is 118.7. The sample standard deviation is 7.18. And then, the population mean is 116.12 kasi ito, dito natin yan makukuha. And then, the sample size is 21. So, again, the population follows normal with a standard deviation of 7.18, the sample mean of 118.7, and the sample size of 21. Okay, so what will be the answer? Okay, so using the given data, yung n natin is less than 30, and the population standard deviation is unknown. So, therefore, gagamitin natin dito ay t-test. Okay, using the formula, so 118.7 minus 116.12 divided by 7.18 over square root of 21, the computed t-value is 1.647. Okay, so test yourself. So, bigyan ko kayo ng 1 minute to answer, or no, 10 seconds lang. So, stop nyo lang muna yung video kung gusto nyo sagutan muna. Okay, so for number 1, the answer is letter A, t-test. Number 2, letter A also, always true. Number 3, Letter A also, t-test. Okay, next. Number 4 and number 5. Okay, for number 4, the answer is letter C. And for number 5, the answer is letter B. Okay. So if you get 5, congratulations. So you share your score. So sa comment section ng video lesson na to. Okay, congratulations in advance.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button para updated kayo for more video tutorial. This is your guide in learning your math lesson, your Wow Math channel.